we are going to study the larger sutra. Okay, and today we like to get into the text of the sutra itself. But before we get to get into the inside of the text, I want you to have some general information about the text of the larger sutra. So I have prepared about a page of information here about the text. Okay, so I think it's very important to have this general information because larger sutra is so important, and I have to explain why the larger sutra is important, particularly for those of us who are studying Jodo Shinshu. In the Jodo Shinshu, this text is the most important text, so I have to explain why. Okay, so Shinran, the founder of our Buddhist tradition, systematized his teaching on the basis of the larger sutra, and he said, to reveal the true and real teaching, it is a larger sutra of the Buddha of immeasurable life. So I translate this, text name of the larger sutra of the Buddha of limitless life. But anyway, at the beginning of his main writing, he mentions this. Okay, my Buddhism, Shinran says, my Buddhism is based on this larger sutra. Okay? And as Sensei already mentioned, we studied the Contemplation Sutra last year. And so in Jodo Shinshu tradition, we honor 3 sutras called the Triple Sutra of the Pure Land. And so the larger sutra, Contemplation Sutra, and Amida Sutra. And Shinran considered the larger sutra the most important teaching. And the other 2 sutras are provisional sutras. The provisional sutra. By that, Shinran meant these other 2 sutras, Contemplation Sutra and Amida Sutra, are sutras that are designed to guide people to the larger sutra, which is the ultimate sutra. So that's how he considered. Okay, Shinran's main work is the Kyogyo Shinsho, and we can say that this work is Shinran's study note or commentary on the larger sutra. Okay, and his name Shinran, originally comes from the 2nd and 3rd patriarchs of Shin Buddhism. Shinran, when Shinran Shonin met his teacher Honen Shonin, Honen Shonin gave a name, Buddhist name to Shinran. That was Shaku. But later in life, Shinran Shonin wanted to change his name from Shaku to Shinran. So Shinran was a name Shinran himself created and gave it to himself. And the reason was because he thought his mission in life was to study the larger sutra, and he wanted to share its teaching with others. And the main works of the 2nd and the 3rd patriarchs were commentary on the larger sutra. Okay, now let me talk about the text of the larger sutra. Okay. Larger sutra texts were, of course, originally in India. Okay, in all these texts, like larger sutra or Amida Sutra, they are original texts in India. Okay, so sometime after Shakyamuni's passing, Indians created these texts called the Amida Sutra or Larger Sutra. So original texts were in Indian language. So these original texts were translated into Chinese, and tradition tells us that this Larger Sutra was translated into Chinese 12 times, 12 times. Scholars say maybe it wasn't, the text was not translated 12 times, maybe no, 8 or 9 times. We don't know exactly how many times it was translated in Chinese, but we have five existing texts now. Okay, 5, that's what I spelled out here. Okay? 5 texts here, and you can look at it. All these texts have different names, okay? And all these sutras are same in that they all talk about the story of Dharmakara, okay? Young seeker by the name of Dharmakara. He's becoming Amida Buddha. So these 5 sutras have the same storyline, okay? So, same storyline. Okay? That shows that these 5 translations, existence of these 5 translations shows that this text was very popular in India. Okay, and I didn't mention this here, but there is a Sanskrit original. Okay, Sanskrit original, and this Sanskrit original was composed in the 12th century. Okay, 12th century, and so we know the title. The title of this ska. The Sanskrit text we have has this ska he Vyuha Sutra. Okay. So this is the title of the Sanskrit text. Okay, and as I told you, it's all 5 Chinese translations have all different titles. Okay, the Sanskrit title have this. The meaning of this is the sutra, and skavati. Skavati means blissfulness. And blissfulness, and this is the vyuha is adornment. So this is a sutra that talks about adornment of blissfulness, or blissful adornment. Okay. So and this is the name of Pure Land too. See? This Pure Land is the name of the Amida's land. It's called Skavati land. Okay. Pure, there's no original word. Chinese people love this idea of pure. So instead of saying blissful land, Chinese people use this. Of course, Chinese people use a translation, literal translation like happiness land, blissful land. That is gokuraku. Japanese people say gokuraku. That is so this was translated in Chinese too. But this word pure land, this is not in the original meaning, but this became more popular. Pure land. Okay? So anyway, this is a text that talks about the land that is adorned with happiness. Okay? So we can know the name of the original Sanskrit text, but we don't know what was the original Sanskrit title was concerning other 5 translations. And as far as Shindan Shonin was concerned, Shindan Shonin quotes first four translations, okay, but he did not quote the 5th translation. So that shows the 5th translation was not available at Shindan's time. Or maybe it existed in Shindan's time, but Shindan had no way of seeing this text, 5th one. But the other earlier 4, these first 4 texts, Shindan Shonin quotes them very often in his main work, Kyogyo Shinsho. Okay, and let me talk a little bit about the vowels. See, these five texts have, as you notice here. Okay, and this at the end of each entry, I mentioned the number of Dharmakara's vowels in the sutra. So the first and the second sutra, okay, these sutras have, this has 24 vowels. Dharmakara make vowels. And in the first two sutras, okay, Dharmakara make 24 vowels. And third vowel, 48 vowels. And the fourth one is 48 vowels. And the fifth text, there are 36 vowels. Okay, as I told you, okay, these five sutras, some differences in their contents, although the storyline is same. Okay, and so that shows, okay, this shows that the original text has 24, okay, and then become 36, and then become 46, 48. So the scholars say this is the first, early period. This is the middle period. This is the last period. So this sutra has the three stages of development. The sutra was shorter, and the contents was kind of more condensed. But this became gradually expanded. So you can see as the centuries went by, the number of vowels increased. This sutra consists of two volumes. Okay, these two volumes have distinctly different contents. Okay? Distinctly different contents, and as I mentioned here, first volume, okay, Shakyamuni explains the Dharma's side, okay, liberator's side. And second volume, okay, Shakyamuni explains the human being's side, the liberated side. Okay, so let me continue reading. The first volume talks about the Dharma's side, the liberator's side, such as the Buddha and the Pure Land, by telling the story of Dharmakara's becoming a Buddha. Okay. And second volume, Shakyamuni explained human being side or liberated side, how the Dharma, the Buddha and the Pure Land, saves the human beings. Shakyamuni also explains the evil and corrupted nature of human beings. Okay. So Buddhism always talk about two main things. Okay? That is human beings and Dharma or Buddha's side. Okay? This is the liberated side. This is the liberator. Okay, so Buddhism always talk about these two sides. Okay, two sides. It is like a patient, okay? sick patient, and this is a doctor, hospital, medicine, and nurses. It's very important. Okay, Buddhism talks about actually two things. Okay, doesn't talk about so many things. Buddhism basically talk about two things. This side and this side. Okay, and patients, the sick people, and this is the curing party. This is the curing. This is the cured. See? So these two things. It's very important to know this. Okay. It's sometimes we think, oh, I want to study. I started to study Buddhism. So complicated. So many things. It's so difficult to understand. So many theories. So many ideas. Buddhism shouldn't be like that. Okay. Buddhism is very simple. Okay. Because Shakyamuni said, okay, he often said, I talk about only two things, sickness and cure, human suffering, and liberation from human suffering. Okay? This is Buddhism, okay? And there's so many theories, and if those theories have nothing to do with these two things, they are not important, okay? So issue is, I'm suffering. If we are suffering, we want to be liberated from it. Buddhism is there to help us. That's the only issue in Buddhism, okay? So that's why this human being side and this Buddha Dharma Sangha, we say, okay? Buddha Dharma Sangha. And this, anyway, so these two, okay? So I always draw this picture, okay? This is the picture of this human world, deluded world, a deluded world of suffering. We are in this human wisdom, world of human wisdom. Okay, so we are in this world of suffering, okay, and we are suffering because of our attachment to human wisdom, okay. So we are seeking all kinds of plus values here, okay? And because we are seeking whatever we like to have, and we create this world of suffering, okay? And Buddha is a person who is liberated from it. And world of this Dharma, the truth is going opposite way. See, we are this fixed or attached, fixed world. Attached world. Okay. See, we are creating this and we are suffering in this. Okay. So we are going this opposite way. But the Dharma, this Dharma, truth, Dharma is going opposite way. See, this dynamic flow of life is moving. Everything around outside us is moving. Only the world we're creating in the mind, this is fixed. And we are struggling, because of our ignorance of this. And see, this is how. See, so the Buddha is a person. So say this boat is going upward, this boat is going down. This is a Buddha. This Buddha is a one with Dharma, the same thing. Okay. So here, Buddhism talks about two things. Okay, so meeting with the Buddha, being challenged by this, and this shell gets to be broken, and we come out of this. The Buddha is trying to make the direction, the deluded direction of these people. It's 6 people going this way, okay? So this Buddha is saying, come out of it. That's what the Buddha teaches us. And so by hearing it, we gradually turn our direction, and this true self awakens here, see, and gets out of this, See, so this kind of simple picture, but this shows the entirety of the picture. The Buddhism consists of two things. See? This alone cannot save us. This alone cannot save us. Okay? If doctors and hospital exist, but no patients, then hospital goes out of business. Okay, patients, because patients exist, the hospital and doctors exist. Okay, if this exists and no hospital, no medicine, no doctors, no nurses, how can we be liberated? See, these curing party, the cured, saving party, and the saved party, the doctor and the patient. These are two parts of the Buddhism. Okay, and as Shakyamuni said, I talk about only suffering. Two things: sickness and liberation from sickness. See? This is Buddhism. See? Shinran Shonin does not say anything else. Anything else. This is the only thing. Shakyamuni does not say anything else. This is the only thing. See? All authentic teachers talk only about this. If you have this focus, and if you think you are a healthy person, no need of Buddhism, okay? If you are good and wise and healthy person, you don't need Buddhism. You have already wisdom. See, you have good enough resources in yourself. You don't need the help of Buddha. See? But when you start to doubt your health, when you start to doubt your human wisdom, see? My life is so difficult. I need to be liberated from my present condition. Then Buddhism has something to offer. Okay, so first noble truth is insight into suffering. Starting point of Buddhism is that I feel something wrong with me. See? I have to know myself. I have to listen. I have to receive the cure of my situation. See? Shakyamuni said, Dharma is a medicine. Dharma is a medicine. If you are a healthy person, why do you need medicine? See, Dharma is medicine. This medicine is necessary only for the sick people. See, so if you don't think you are sick people or the person who doubts yourself, you don't need Buddhism. You don't have to study. Okay? But as we know, all human beings have suffering. Come to think of it. We have to get old. We have to get sick. We have to die. If these are the three things are reality, so life is suffering. Okay, so if you're serious about life and think about the reality of aging, sickness, and death, we have to listen to what Buddha tells us. We need cure, medicine. Okay, but anyway, now let me go back to the original discussion. Okay, here, okay, and first volume talk about this. Okay, this first volume talk about. Second volume talk about this. Okay, this Rajya Sutra says first volume. Okay, first volume talks about who Shakyamuni is, what is the background, his background. This Shakyamuni tells the story of Dharmakara. See, this story Dharmakara becoming Amida Buddha. Okay, this is the story. This is the story explaining the background, explaining from where Shakyamuni appeared. So Shakyamuni is, by telling this story, he is explaining his spiritual basis, where his spirit, Shakyamuni has such a powerful spirit, okay, deep wisdom. But by telling this story, he's explaining from where his wisdom came from, what his spirit came from. So this is story, okay? It's explaining this original Dharma, original Buddhahood. And Shakyamuni is a historical manifestation, okay? Shakyamuni, in the Rajya Sutra, Shakyamuni says, I didn't become Buddha myself. I didn't create my aspiration by myself. I received this Buddhahood from my predecessors. I received my spirit, Hongan spirit, from original Buddhas. See? So Shakyamuni is saying, I'm just a recipient of this spirit. So this is the basis, source of my spirit. That's what he wants to tell us. But anyway, okay, that first volume is this Shakyamuni is telling us this story. This is what we are going to read, okay? This is what we are going to read. First volume. Okay? We are not going to read this side, okay? This side. This is the second volume. Okay? So in the first volume, we read the story of Dharmakara, okay? What does this tell us? The story of Dharmakara is telling us what is Buddhahood? What is that power? Curing power? What is a liberating power? What is the medicine? What is a doctor, medicine, and hospital? Okay? The doctor is Amida Buddha. Okay? Medicine is Namamitabutsu. Namamitabutsu. See, medicine is, it's called name. See, this is the medicine. See, this is Amida Buddha. See, and this land, see, land is pure land. This is the, this land is hospital. Hospital. If you are born in the hospital, you meet with the doctor, nurses, and you meet with the good medicine. But being born in Pure Land is so important. Okay? So that's what we are going to read. Okay? So what we are going to read in this story? Okay? In this story, this story is explaining this curing party. Okay? This story is not telling us how we are going to be liberated. Okay? Many people try to understand, oh, how am I going to be liberated by reading this story? No, that's not the right way of reading it. Okay? This story is explaining this side. Second volume talks about this side. Okay? So this is very important. This is a text, and I hope all of you have this text, and and some of you don't have this text, but if you are serious about studying Jodo Shinshu, please get this book, okay? Because this is the text that contains 3 sutras: Larger Sutra, Contemplation Sutra, and Amida Sutra. Okay, so I'm going to read this text. Okay, this text has 2 introductions. First half of general introduction, Shakyamuni says, okay, names all the bodhisattvas, Shakyamuni disciples are mentioned at the outset of the text, okay? Shakyamuni says that all the bodhisattvas in his audiences are no different from Buddhas. Bodhisattvas all possess the 8 marks of Buddha. That's strange. Buddhas and the bodhisattvas are different. Buddhas and bodhisattvas, but the sutras, they are bodhisattvas, and then Shakyamuni says, all these bodhisattvas are no different from Buddhas. These bodhisattvas have 8 marks of Buddhahood. What are 8 marks of Buddhahood? See, like birth and ascetic practices, attainment of enlightenment, and turning of the wheel, the preaching of the Dharma, and attaining nirvana, parinirvana, he dies. See, these are some of the 8 aspects of Buddhahood. And the Sutra said these bodhisattvas have these 8 marks of Buddhas. See, what is Buddhas and bodhisattvas are different. But this Sutra said, but I explain here, okay, in the parenthesis. One of the important teachings of the larger sutra is that the true bodhisattvas are Buddhas, and Buddhas are true bodhisattvas. This is one of the main teachings of the larger sutra. This is somewhat different from other texts, okay? So you better know it, okay? Otherwise, it's so confusing. See? Buddha is saying bodhisattvas, Buddha's a bodhisattva. What is this? See? But this is a very important part of the teaching, okay? And number 2 here, second half of the general introduction. Shakyamuni says that all the bodhisattvas in his audience perform the Samantabhadra practices. I'm sure you never heard this word, Samantabhadra practices, but maybe you heard of the Prajna Paramita, 6 practices, 6 practices such as giving and the patience and the vidya, effort making, things like that. But another important practice is Mahayana Buddhism talks about is called Samantabhadra practices. And in larger sutra, this Samantabhadra is considered the most important bodhisattva. Okay? And so his practice is called Samantabhadra practices. And these practices, Samantabhadra practice consists of 3 things. 3 things. I spelled here. Traveling to the 10 quarters, and what are they going to do in visiting 10 directions? And first, worshipping a limitless number of Buddha. That's one purpose. Another second purpose is enlightening a limitless number of human beings. So these Samantabhadra consists 3 practices: traveling to 10 directions, worshipping numerous Buddhas, and enlightening all sentient beings. Okay? These 3 practices are so important in Larger Sutra. Why do I say? Because I mentioned here, later in the story of the Larger Sutra, we see that Dharmakara is a bodhisattva. Dharmakara is a hero in this story. Okay? This story that Shakyamuni is going to tell this story. Hero. Okay? This hero takes up all kinds of practice, like 6 practices, and Samantabhadra practices. And these Samantabhadra practices are the main practices Dharmakara performs. That's why, see, in the introduction, the sutra have a detailed explanation of Samantabhadra practices, because hero in the story, that Shakyamuni is going to tell in the story, hero, Dharmakara, is performing these 3 types of practices. Okay, then I think you may understand why general introduction is important. Okay, now let me get into this doctrinal introduction. Okay, I think this doctrinal introduction is the most important part of this sutra. Okay, this is the most important part of the sutra. Okay, I'll explain why. This is a very short section, is it? Only a little over 1 page, but this is, I think this is the most important part of this entire Larger Sutra. Okay, we must read this doctrinal introduction very carefully, okay? Because in this section, in this introduction, the doctrinal introduction, theme of the sutra is explained. Again, understand the story of the Dharmakara without knowing the theme of it, without knowing why the story was told. See? In this introduction, okay, a doctrinal introduction, there's a conversation between Ananda and Shakyamuni, between the student and the teacher. Ananda raises a question. I want to, what is this? What is it? What are you? Okay? What is this power you possess? This is a question student Ananda raises, gives to Shakyamuni, and Shakyamuni says, that's a very good question. I'm going to give answer to your question. See? So this question is the theme of this sutra. Because, and this answer is the story. See? And Shakyamuni says, oh, that's a very good question. I'm going to give answer to your question. So I'll tell you a story. So Shakyamuni says, I'm going to answer your question with this story of Dharma. This is Shakyamuni's answer. This student is asking question, and good question. I'm going to answer your question with this story. This is the answer. See? So if you don't know this conversation, question, answer, without knowing the question, and if you read just the answer, can you understand the meaning of this story? You have to know question. Okay? You just, if you start reading this story from the this Larger Sutra from the story itself, you're reading the answer. You don't understand the sutra because okay, story is given by Shakyamuni as an answer to the question. You have to know the question. Okay? That question is the theme of this sutra. Okay? That's very important. Okay? Many people make this mistake. Okay, this introduction, doctrinal introduction is so important. Okay, so important. Okay, now let us begin reading. Okay, so I want you to look at the text. Okay, text. Let me read. Okay, at that time, all the senses of the world one radiated joy. Shakyamuni looks so happy. Okay, his entire body appears serene and glorious, and his august countenance looked most majestic. And now, see, Ananda appears. Having perceived or received the Buddha's holy intention, the venerable Ananda rose from his seat, bared his right shoulder, prostrated himself, and joining his palms in reverence, said to the Buddha. See, so this is the beginning of this introduction. Okay, so let me explain what we just read. Okay, on this day, Shakyamuni's face radiated joy, and Ananda was, sitting probably in the front row, okay, sitting very quietly before Shakyamuni. But Shakyamuni's radiance was so powerful that Ananda could not help standing up. He didn't know why he was standing up. Okay. The expression here says, having received the Buddha's holy intention. What does that mean? Having received the Buddha's holy intention, this means that the power of Shakyamuni's radiance is making Ananda to stand up. See? That Buddha's mind power is taking initiative here. See? Ananda may be not aware of it, but the power of Shakyamuni is so powerful that he could not help but stand up. See? So it's something like a tariki, okay? Tariki. We think we are doing something, but sometimes it's the power of the Buddha is making us do it. That happens, okay? And Ananda, here we read Ananda stood up from his seat. I think this expression is very symbolic, okay? And important to think is that there are two types of Buddhism. Okay? Buddhism. This is the Hinayana Buddhism, and Shinran Shonin say this is the Mahayana Buddhism. Okay, I want you to know there are basically two Buddhism. Okay, Hinayana Buddhism and the Mahayana Buddhism. This is the Buddhism based on human wisdom. This is the wisdom based on Buddha's wisdom. Okay, there are two Buddhisms. Okay, don't think there's only one Buddhism. Okay, there are two Buddhism. It's traditionally we use the word Hinayana Buddhism and the Mahayana Buddhism. And important thing to know in this context, in this sutra's context, is that until today, until this moment, okay, Ananda was a Hinayana Buddhist. He was understanding Buddhism here, in this Buddhism. Okay? This is the Buddhism. Ananda was here, and Shakyamuni was here. Okay? Shakyamuni was here. He was worshipping Shakyamuni. This was Ananda. This was Ananda. Yesterday. So one day makes a lot of difference. Okay, one day makes a lot of difference. This is today. Today, this boat turned around. Ananda is here. Okay, this Ananda is standing here. Okay? Ananda is here, and Shakyamuni is here. Okay, so today he is coming out of this Hinayana Buddhism and moving into this Mahayana Buddhism. Larger Sutra is Mahayana Buddhism. Okay? Mahayana Buddhism has harsh criticism of this Buddhism. So, see, this talk of Ananda. Hinayana Ananda was there yesterday. But today is very important word. New Ananda is being born. That's what this section is talking about. Okay, new Ananda is being gradually born here. Okay, so here. Sutra says he feels tremendous power, and without knowing, he stand up from his seat. I think this one standing up from his seat is very symbolic. he was complacent here. He was sitting. Oh, I know Buddhism. See, I know who Shakyamuni is. See, he's my teacher. I'm listening. I have good memory. I memorize all the teachings, his teachings. See, I know I'm a Buddhist. I know Buddhism. He was complacent. He was sitting, see, complacently. But today, see, Ananda is seeing totally different Shakyamuni. Mahayana Shakyamuni. This is Hinayana. Wow, this is so different. And see, so the standing up from seat, he is shaken and he is made, this Shakyamuni made him to stand up, leave the seat. See, complacency in this Hinayana Buddhism. That's what mentioned here. Okay, this, I'm kind of reading a lot of things in this expression, standing from the seat. Okay, I think same thing would happen when we meet the real Buddha. Okay, we think, oh, I know Buddhism, but that my kind of Buddhism is shattered. Okay, true Buddhism start to soak into us. Okay, so anyway, then. Ananda says, yes, I have never seen you so superb and majestic as today, today. Yesterday's you and today's you are totally different. Totally different. You look so different. Does this mean that Shakyamuni has changed? So he was seeing Shakyamuni through his human perspective, perspective of human wisdom. But this perspective of human wisdom with which he was watching Shakyamuni fell down. Here, fell down. So he could see through Shakyamuni. Being shaken here. He's shaking, this Ananda is shaking by this Shakyamuni. Shakyamuni. So this question, a big question. What are you? What is this power coming from you? See, that's the question. See, so the next section says the Buddhas of the past, present, future contemplate each other. How can this present Buddha not contemplate the other Buddhas? This is a question. This is a question. Very important question. Okay? This is a question. And eventually the answer is going to be, this is a question. You have to know this importance of this question. The Buddhas of the present, past, present, future contemplate each other. How can this present Buddha not contemplate the other Buddhas? For what reason does his countenance look so majestic and brilliant? And here Ananda says, the Buddhas of the past, present, and the future contemplate each other. So here Ananda is saying, okay, Shakyamuni, you are thinking of the Buddhas of the past, Buddhas of the present, and you are thinking of the Buddhas in the future. You are thinking of all human beings as Buddhas. You are respecting all of them. Okay? And see here, that's the Buddhas of the past, present, and the future contemplate each other. How can this present Buddha means Shakyamuni? How can you not contemplate the other Buddhas? See, so you are in the world of Buddhas mutually think. Buddhas mutually think. So you are thinking of Buddhas past, present, future, Buddhas. And same time, these Buddhas are thinking of you as Buddha. These Buddhas are respecting you as Buddha. These Buddhas are respecting. So Nembutsu, Buddha's thinking of Buddha's Nembutsu. And Buddhas are thinking of, this is actively doing, and these are passively being thought upon by others. These are mutually contemplating each other. This, you are in the world of See, Buddhahood. You're surrounded by Buddhas, present, future Buddha. See? And you are thinking of the Buddhas, and all Buddhas are thinking of you. You have such a tremendous radiance, light, powerful light. That powerful light is coming out of me and shaking me, okay? And this power of light must coming from the fact that you are living in the world of mutual thinking of Buddhas. Okay? You are thinking of Buddhas, and the Buddhas are thinking of you. You are in this world of Nembutsu. And this is called, this is a word Ananda uses is Buddhas mutually think. Butsu. So, man, this is our this. Okay? Buddhas think about each other. Each other. Shakyamuni thinking about all people as Buddhas. All people are thinking of Buddhas as Buddha. Mutually thinking. So Ananda is thinking. Okay. Oh, I want to know the reason why Shakyamuni is so brilliant. And I heard that person looks so brilliant when he thinks about other people as Buddhas, and he feels that other Buddhas are thinking about. When one have this world of oneness, the person looks so brilliant and happy. And you having the same, this Butsu Sonen here now. So this is a question. This is a question. And Ananda says here, how can this present Buddha, how can you not contemplate the other Buddhas? For what reason does his countenance look so majestic and brilliant? And by saying this, Ananda says, I cannot think of any other reason why you look so brilliant, so powerful today. See, is this happening? What's happening to you? This is a question, okay? This is the theme. This is the theme of the larger sutra, okay? And this Buddhas mutually think, okay? This name Butsu. I think you are familiar with the word Nembutsu. Nembutsu. You hear this on Nembutsu, Namandabutsu, okay? All the time at the temple. This is the term you are exposed to more often than any other concepts, okay? Nembutsu come from here. Okay? Buddha is thinking about all Buddhas, humans as Buddhas, and he feels all humans, all Buddhas are thinking of him as Buddha. Nembutsu toward people, Nembutsu from the people to Buddha. Okay? Mutual, two-way Nembutsu. Okay? Nembutsu. Okay? What come from here? So Shakyamuni is going to explain the meaning of Nembutsu in this story. Okay? Because the question is, are you doing Nembutsu? Is the Nembutsu the basis of your being? Are you the embodiment of the Nembutsu? Indeed, are you this Nembutsu person? This is the question. And later, we read it, but later, Shakyamuni says, that's a wonderful question. Now I give an answer with this story. See, Dharmakara becoming Amida Buddha. This is the story we're going to read. This is the main content of the life. This is the story how Dharmakara become Namamida Butsu. How this seeker, the young seeker, become Nembutsu. This is the story. The answer is yes. you're right. I'm the embodiment of Nembutsu. And he's saying, I want to tell you, there was this Nembutsu person, Dharmakara. Dharmakara became Amida Butsu, Amida Buddha. Amida Buddha is a person who embodied this. This is the basis of my being. Okay? So Nembutsu is everything. Okay? When a person has Nembutsu, he's very happy, he's liberated. He's so powerful. Okay? So your question is a very good question. You're asking about Nembutsu. Now I'm going to explain who I am, where I come from. Okay? Nembutsu is everything. Nembutsu is the basis of Buddhahood. Okay, that's this. Yes. You are the question. This is a question. Are you a Nembutsu person? Yes. Okay? Every Buddha comes from this world of Nembutsu. Okay? This story is telling us what is the Buddhahood is, what is the basis of the deepest basis of human spirit. Okay? And the two types of Ananda. Yesterday's Ananda, today's Ananda. Yesterday's Shakyamuni and today's Shakyamuni. What's the difference? What's the difference between two types of Shakyamuni that Ananda is experiencing? Okay. It's a comparison between Hinayana Shakyamuni and Mahayana Shakyamuni. What's the difference? Yesterday, Ananda was seeing Hinayana Shakyamuni in this cocoon, okay? This Shakyamuni, okay, this Shakyamuni was a teacher. This Shakyamuni is a student. Okay? This Shakyamuni was the preacher. This Shakyamuni is a listener. Okay? This Shakyamuni was the founder of the tradition, great teacher. Okay, so this Shakyamuni is worshipped and respected by people. People are respecting and worshiping Shakyamuni. Okay, today's Shakyamuni, okay, Shakyamuni is worshipping and respecting people. You see the difference? He is worshipped and respected here. Okay? People are worshipping and respecting. But here, Buddha, Shakyamuni is worshipping and respecting. The teacher and the preacher, this is a student seeker. Okay? The tremendous difference. This Shakyamuni is bowing his head toward all sentient beings, considering them as Buddhas. Okay? He's bowing his head, okay? Worshipping all Buddha, past, present, future. And because he's worshipping all people, people are worshipping him in return, okay? Because he worships, other people worships, okay? It's mutual. If you demand people to worship you, how can they worship you, okay? See, so yesterday Ananda was a faithful student. He is for Ananda yesterday. Shakyamuni was like high peak. He is objectively looking at from a far place, and he is worshiping and respecting. Shakyamuni is so far away and so much difference here. See? Distance between yesterday's Ananda and Shakyamuni. In today's Ananda, Shakyamuni is standing on the ground, not on the peak. He's standing on the same ground. Okay? And Ananda feels Shakyamuni is like his friend, same level. See? Shakyamuni is worshipping him, Ananda is worshipping him. Same ground. See? Like friends. See? Not like this no distance, no gap. This unbridgeable gap between Shakyamuni and Ananda. Maybe that's why he has deep respect. He's so different, so far away. See, but here, like friend, standing on the same ground, like friends, and Ananda feels himself being totally embraced by Shakyamuni. See, the world of Nembutsu is here, and Ananda feels himself being part of it. See, Shakyamuni is worshipping Buddhas in the past, Buddhas in the present, Buddhas of the future. Past Buddhas we understand, okay? He had some teachers in the background. And present, he respects contemporary Buddhas, okay? Then who are the future Buddhas? Who are the future Buddhas? Who are the future Buddhas for Shakyamuni? Ananda is one of them. Ananda is one of the future Buddhas. Why do I say it? Buddha knows Ananda has Buddha nature, and he could become Buddhas. So from Buddha's Shakyamuni's perspective, Ananda is a Buddha, future Buddha. So he's worshipping Ananda, bowing his head before Ananda. That's why, see, Ananda feels tremendous power shaking him. If you meet a person who is humbly bowing his head before you, aren't you moved by the person? Don't you feel that you cannot help but bow your head toward that person too? See? If a person manifests this humility, bowing, doing nembutsu toward you, can't you help but bow your head to the person? See? So this world will, see? Buddha's mutual thing. So Ananda is a participant in this. There's oneness here. It's not like kind of Shakyamuni and Ananda here. See, this Ananda is here. Shakyamuni is here. Tremendous gap, unbridgeable gap here. He is so far away, so like a mountain peak. He can worship him, but he cannot identify with him. But today's, see, Shakyamuni, see, stand on same ground and worshiping him, and you can't help but worship him. See, this is the power comes from the fact that this is such a humble person, bowing person. This is a Namu Amidabutsu person, okay, Nembutsu person. This is so important, tremendous. So yesterday, here important thing to understand is that which type of Buddhism do we have? Which type of, whenever you study Buddhism, okay, you must see relevance. You must see all teachings that are relevant to me personally. If you don't understand it, it's just the academics, just the academic studies, okay? Don't see this as the information, objective information. Oh, that's happened. Oh, that's a kind. Don't do that, okay? Everything you should read should be part of your life, okay? You have to see yourself, okay? Which one are you? Okay? Which kind of teacher, what kind of teacher do you have? Maybe you have a teacher, Buddhist teacher, but what kind of teacher do you have? Is your teacher like this or like this? Or what kind of student are you? This kind of teacher just watching, respecting, worshiping him? Or this is not the story. Shinran Shonin ordered this sutra so important because when he read this sutra, he understood this was Shinran, this was Honen Shonin. Okay? He understood what happened to Shinran. That's why he said this sutra is the most important because Shinran saw himself, Ananda and Shakyamuni was, and Shakyamuni is Honen Shonin. This is not the ancient story. Okay? This, whenever you read this sutra, you have to see yourself somewhere. Okay? All teaching are there for my sickness, not other people's sickness. See? If you are a sick person, you have to know you are the person who received medicine. This is the sick person, Ananda, and this is the doctor. See? Shinda saw himself as the sick person. See? And here, now we are reading this. We have to identify myself, this, and your teachers. See? If you don't do that, what's the use of studying Buddhism? Okay, just academic information. You get wiser and wiser, more knowledgeable. What's the use of it? You can be proud of it, brag about your knowledge, but that's not Buddhism, okay? You have to really understand the implication, relevance, okay? Personal implication. Okay? It's not complete. If you understand this in the personal level, Buddhism is not complicated at all. Just sickness and cure. Okay? Whether you have a teacher or not, okay? Teacher and yourself, okay? Student and teacher. That's the only thing necessary. If you don't have it, then study Buddhism. What's the use of studying it? Okay? This is what Shinran teaches. Shinran, entire teaching of Shinran is explaining what happened to him when he met his teacher. Shinran is talking about it. And this sutra is explaining only that, okay? If you understand only non-Buddhist person and this experience is called the Shinjin, that's all there is. Okay. This is, I emphasize this point, okay, because we are so like this. Oh, that's Buddhism. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's Buddhahood. Oh, interesting. Just like reading a story novel or something like that. Buddhism is more serious than that. Okay. Then next section. Okay. Following section. Ananda. When Ananda asked a question, Shakyamuni said to him, "Tell me, Ananda, whether some God urged you to put this question to the Buddha, or whether you asked about his glorious countenance out of your own wise observation." This is, see, it's an interesting question, okay? In a sense, Shakyamuni is checking on Ananda, okay? Shakyamuni thought, okay, this is the most important question human beings can answer. This is the most important question in Buddhism. See? And Ananda suddenly came up with this such important question. So I think Shakyamuni was kind of surprised. And he wanted to know whether Ananda had come up with this question personally, without being asked to ask this question. So he wanted to check on Ananda. So he asked, "Tell me, Ananda, whether some God urged you to put this question to the Buddha, or whether you asked about this glorious countenance out of your own observation." Okay, it's important. It is a question coming out of your deepest aspiration, coming out of the depths of your existence. Then Shakyamuni said, "That's wonderful. I want to give this answer. If a question comes out from your innermost aspiration, I will give an answer to the question. The answer is the teaching about the innermost aspiration. See, innermost aspiration question, innermost aspiration answer will be given. So he wanted to check if it's authentic question. So Ananda says, "No God came to prompt me. No other people asked me to ask it. I asked you about this matter of my own accord. See, this is my sincere question." Then Shakyamuni says, "Well said, Ananda. I am very pleased with your question. You have shown profound wisdom and subtle insight in asking me this sagacious question out of compassion for sentient beings." See, so with these words, Shakyamuni praises Ananda. But here, see, Shakyamuni said, "Okay, you have shown profound wisdom and subtle insight in asking me this sagacious question out of compassion. We can understand Ananda asked this question because of wisdom. He wanted to know. Okay? Desire to know is wisdom. Okay, so it's right that Shakyamuni said, Ananda, you asked this question out of your wisdom. Out of your wisdom. That makes sense. But with the other, your sagacious question out of compassion for sentient beings. Out of compassion? Did Ananda know he was asking this question because of his compassion for people? Was he aware of his own compassion? Why does Shakyamuni say the question is raised because of compassion for other people? I'm sure Ananda was surprised. Shakyamuni, I asked you this question out of my wisdom, not because I wanted to know, but I didn't intend to ask this question out of my compassion. I'm sure Ananda was surprised to hear Shakyamuni said, oh, Ananda, this question is out of your compassion. Why does Shakyamuni say out of compassion? Strange. But it's not strange. From Ananda's perspective, it's strange, okay? He was not aware of his compassion. But from Buddha's side, this is a very compassionate question. Very compassionate. Why? Shakyamuni thought, see, this question is the most important question human beings can ask. And this is the most important question that people could ask. And the answer Shakyamuni is going to give to this question, the answer that he's going to give to this question, benefit, not only Ananda, but also all humanity. Then this question is not designed for Ananda alone. See, it's for all humanity, since this question concerns the deepest aspiration of all humanity. So this is not the question of not only wisdom, but also compassion, benefit all humanity. See? That's why Shakyamuni says, okay? Question of wisdom is actually a question of compassion, can benefit all humanity. See, and then Shakyamuni talks about the reason he appeared in this world. Okay, this statement, okay, he says, as a Buddha, as a Tathagata regards beings of the three worlds with boundless great compassion. The reason for my appearance in the world is to reveal teaching of the way and save multitudes of beings by endowing them with true benefits. Shinran Shonin considered this statement, the section I just read, very important. He places them at this statement at the outset of the first volume of Kyogyo Shinsho, volume of teaching. Okay, he has this. Why did Shakyamuni appear in this one? The only reason is this here. Shinran quotes this statement as it is. See? So Shinran Shonin, this is very important. And first volume of Kyogyo Shinsho. Kyogyo Shinsho, first 4 volumes, Kyogyo Shinsho. First volume is a volume of teaching, practice, and awakening and attainment. Okay, Buddha. See, this first volume, if you look at first volume, the only thing Shinran discusses is the section we just read, into doctrine and introduction. Like, see, like less than 1 page, he quotes like first half of this doctrine and introduction. That's the only thing he quotes in the first volume of Kyogyo Shinsho. First volume Kyogyo Shinsho consists of only 3 pages or so. Only 3 pages so. And Shinran Shonin quotes a different translation of this doctrinal introduction. That's all he has. That's the only thing he quotes. See? So you see, so this section is the most important part of the larger sutra. Okay, because this is clearly mentioned. Okay, theme here, okay, of the entire larger sutra explains the theme mentioned in this section. And Shinran Shonin, the Kyo Gyo Shin Sho, and there are two other volumes. But first volume, this volume, Kyo teaching, he has just only this introduction, nothing else, just this. See, you see how important this teacher-student relationship is. Ananda, question, Ananda is asking, what are you? I want to know, what are you, Shakyamuni? And Shinran, when he met Honen Shonin, see, Honen, what are you? See, what are you? What is the Nembutsu you're talking about? What is Namamidabu? What is the power I'm receiving? Your power is shaking me. My entire life is being shaken and my life is going to be changed. What is this power? See? Then larger sutra explains what is the source of the Shakyamuni, what is the source of Honen Shonin. No wonder for Shinran. This is the most important text because it explains everything important about his teacher-student relationship. Nembutsu Shinjin. Because of Nembutsu person, Shinjin is experienced. See? Nembutsu represent Dharma, entire Dharma liberating side. Shinjin is representing all the liberated sides. They just meeting Dharma, doctor and patient. Actually, medicine and patient. Medicine is Namandava's Dharma. Okay? It's just two things, sickness and cure. Okay? Teacher and student, doctor and patient. That's it. This is the only thing important as far as our Buddhism, true Buddhism concerned. All the theories, doctrines, okay? Some people try to memorize, six parameters. What's 6 parameters? What's the eightfold path? What is Four Noble? Memorizing. That's not important. Have a teacher, true teacher, meet him, meet her, and have this shaking experience. If you don't have it, no matter you read hundreds, thousands of books on Buddhism, totally in vain, okay? Shinran would say that. Just meet Nembutsu person, and experience Shinjin, awakening experience. That's all there is. Nothing else is involved, Shinran said. Okay? Just Nembutsu. See? Just Nembutsu and have Shinjin. Nothing else is involved. Okay. Today I wanted to talk about this, particularly the doctrinal introduction. Okay, so important. Okay, okay, that's all for my lecture. Okay, I finished my lecture with Kasho Namandavutsu. No, you don't worry about yourself or world, okay? Just whether Nembutsu is a calling voice, okay? Calling voice, challenging voice, okay? So forget about all your concerns, okay? Personal concerns, because we are here, we are worried about ourselves, society here, with human wisdom, okay? We are depending on the wrong basis. See, basis has to be changed. Okay, so all the expectations, which I want to be a happy person, I want to be a peaceful person, I want the world peace. Okay, these are all things you think on the basis of human wisdom, okay?
Mm.
The basis has to be changed, okay? So whether we meet a teacher, whether we listen to the calling voice, Namamidabuti, come out of this cocoon. Okay? So all the problems we have in this life disappear and priority of things change. Okay, most important concerns you have here now disappears because those concerns are based upon human thinking, human wisdom, dualistic thinking. Okay, but when this shell is broken, priority of things changes. Most important thing is Buddha Dharma Sangha. Hearing, not much so thinking, hearing and receiving the power from it. Okay? The wisdom, Buddha's wisdom will permeate you and guide your life. This is a totally different types of life you are having here on the basis of a human thinking. Or human thinking, I have so many social problems, I'm so unsettled, or I should importance of self disappears when you really meet a teacher. Teacher is more important. Buddha Dharma Sangha is more important than yourself or your concerns. Okay, so this is a radical transformation that Buddhism is talking about. Don't try to use Buddhism for your concerns, okay, human concerns. That's here, you are here. If you are trying to use Buddhism, okay? Buddhism is bigger than your concerns, okay? Buddhism is much bigger. When you meet through Buddhism, your concerns will totally challenged, okay? That's a very important question. Buddhism gives us the total freedom, okay, total peace. That is unimaginable in our thinking, okay? We are thinking of relative peace. Oh, I don't want this suffering. I want to these problems so complicated. I don't like this problem. I want to be away from these problems, okay? Or so that trying to be free, trying to be free from the sufferings we have. That's our kind of freedom, relative freedom. But absolute freedom, Buddhism teaches, is that you are willing to accept the reality of suffering. Okay? You don't have to run away from it. See? That's what Buddhism can teach us. You don't have to be religious. I want to be religious. Or secular world I don't like. I like to be religious. That's the escapist, escapist type of mentality. That's not so Buddhism. That's Buddhism here. Escapist type of freedom. Okay, but here, see, no place from where you have to run away. You accept your sickness. You accept your suffering. See. And you don't have to be even religious. See, people are all same foolish, ordinary people. So that's kind of the freedom or peace that is totally unimaginable on the basis of human dualistic thinking. Okay, that's what. But to get to that ultimate or absolute freedom or peace, you must have yourself deeply examined, challenged, and examined, and totally negated. Okay, that's what I said. Transformation, change of basis. Basis has to change. Human wisdom basis, Buddha's wisdom base. Okay, you cannot have both together. Okay, that's a difficulty. Okay, we are so sneaky, smart. So we like to maintain this human thinking, and you want to bring in this Buddha's wisdom in this. No way. This goes this way, this goes this way. Either or, okay? You cannot, but see, you have to listen. And Namandabutsu is terrible, okay? If you really listen, see, it's time. Come out of, you are in such a deluded dimension. They come out of your thick shell, okay? And trying to break this shell. It's terrible, okay, Namandabutsu. Our teachers teaching challenge, okay? If you don't feel this negative power, challenging power from our teachers, You are not studying true Buddhism. You are taming it, taming Buddhism and domesticating Buddhism here. Real Buddhism is like a tiger, wild and violent. Break this. Okay? So many people don't like true Buddhism, so they tame and create their type of Buddhism. That's the worst thing you can do. Many people, I see many people doing that. See? So listen to Shakyamuni directly, listen to Shinran directly, what they're telling us. Okay? Don't create your type of Buddhism. Okay? That's the worst thing you can do. Okay? Yeah, we are originally living in the chaos. Okay?
Right.
Yeah, we are not aware of our chaos. Okay.
Right.
So when we really understand true peace, then we can really understand we've been living in such a chaotic, self-centered, self-created world. Okay. We are in the midst of the cocoon, so we cannot see the cocoon. See, if you are born and raised in cocoon, nobody can see the cocoon. See, inside the cocoon, you cannot see it. But all of us, since we are kids, we are born and raised in the cocoon. Education, all our education is thickening this cocoon. We never seen this one, see? So Buddhism is a meeting a teacher, like Ananda, okay? Ananda has been in this cocoon. But finally, see, today, Ananda met the real teacher, real Buddha, who is outside the cocoon. See? Before, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha are within this cocoon. We are doing that. But this is just chaos, seen from this side, this total samsaric direction. But see, in the cocoon, we don't know. We cannot see cocoon. See, that's a sad tragedy. That's how all of us are initially living. But see, when you really encounter true Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, we started to see the mistake we are making. It's a very difficult process, okay? You have to really seriously listen, okay? Listening is the only thing. Don't think first, okay? Listen first. Listen to the words of, receive the power of the Dharma. Then you can gradually start to see where you are standing, okay? It's very difficult process. Without, you cannot understand true Buddhism by yourself. Never. Our teachers tell, even the greatest genius cannot understand Buddhism. Buddhism is something you learn by hearing the words of the Buddha. Okay? Words of the Buddha is the only thing that can guide us out of it. Don't trust your thinking. Okay? Our initial thinking is self-centered thinking, this dualistic thinking. Okay? Buddhism is not dualistic. Buddhism guides us to the world, non-dualistic world. Okay? That is unimaginable as far as our original self is concerned. Okay? So you must have a teacher or teachers and listen to what they say. Okay? Don't listen to what you think. Okay? See? This is so important. That's why we say at the beginning of a service, I take Buddha Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Okay? We have to understand it, okay? It's not a ritual, okay? If you don't have Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, no, we don't listen their words, no Buddhism. Hearing the words is Buddhism, okay? Not thinking about your ideal or happiness or peace, that's not Buddhism. That's your wishful ideas. That's within the cocoon, see? Within the cocoon. We can understand whatever we think on the dualistic ways. Oh, I don't like suffering. I like happiness. I don't like disturbance. I like peace. See, we can understand that. But Buddhism is not talking about that. There's that kind of Buddhism. Okay, Buddhism I use the Hinayana Buddhism or secular Buddhism or whatever self-centered Buddhism. But I'm talking about this Buddhism. That's what the larger sutra is talking about. So two types of Buddhism. Okay. So difficult to get out of this because we love ourselves. Okay. we love ourselves more than three dharmas, three treasures.